This week, I interviewed one of my pickleball friends, Marion Champion. As you will hear, it turns out she is quite a champion. For most of the past 30 years, she's been in service to her community. The interview led us in a completely different direction than we thought it would when we drafted the questions for Marion. She provides valuable information that applies to everyone with diabetes and tells a personal story that should make believers out of anyone who thinks diabetes is a life sentence that you can't do anything about.
Diabetes sucks.
But at Simply Diabetes, we can help you manage your diabetes cheaper and easier.
We are not medical professionals. We are people with diabetes, just like you.
Welcome. If you find this information useful, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends about us. In this week's video, we're going to be talking to my friend Marion from Pickleball. She is a professional in helping people with diabetes and other illnesses. Marion, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks for inviting me.
Do you mind telling us what you do?
Okay, so I'm a health educator with the National Kidney Foundation of Michigan. And what I do there is I facilitate chronic condition workshops. And the workshops are Prevent Type 2 Diabetes, Diabetes Self-Management Education Program. Also, they also have a Matter of Balance workshop that I facilitate, and also a high blood pressure prevention program.
How did you start this work?
So I started off as a law enforcement officer. I retired 26 years with Detroit Police Department, but I always had a passion for health and wellness. Mm-hmm. And so one day at work on a bulletin board, there was a flyer for a fitness instructor for a local health center that was being built in my work location area. So I called and signed up, and I got certified with them. And so from that point on, I was working, my job with the police department, and then after work, I would go and do an exercise class from one of their locations in Southwest Detroit. Yeah. So I was a police officer since 1993, retired in 2018, mm-hmm. and then I started the health and wellness journey in 2009. So I'm continuing with the health and wellness journey, educating the community mm-hmm. on diabetes, fall prevention, heart disease.
Mm-hmm. Well, on behalf of the people that mm-hmm. need it, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Clients are from all different backgrounds, referred by their healthcare provider. If they go in for blood work and they are pre-diabetic, they are referred to the diabetes prevention program. Mm-hmm. The National Kidney Foundation of Michigan offers that program. Hospitals in Michigan also offers those programs as well.
That's awesome. So they allow somebody that doesn't work for the hospital system to get involved in this at that stage?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. I was in the program and I referred my sister, but she already knows she has pre-diabetes, but her doctor didn't tell her about the program. She can go onto the website and sign up for the program.
Ah, okay.
You can also check your local YMCA. Some of those have those programs there. And also community centers, senior citizen centers also have workshops. Income is not a factor. So if you go to your doctor and he say, I'm concerned about your numbers, I want to put you in this program. Mm-hmm. And then you sign up for the program. You could be low income, have a job with healthcare benefits.
Do people have issues with costs for supplies and stuff?
We do have a program called Resource Navigator. Mm-hmm. So they mention that they may need some help in those medical supplies. They can reach out to the Resource Navigator and they would connect them to the proper resource. That's something that's provided with the National Kidney Foundation of Michigan, the Resource Navigator. So every state has some type of resource for individuals who may not be able to, get their supplies. For Nevada, the Nevada Health Center has low-cost clinics, and First Med Health Wellness offers that, First Person Care Clinic, okay. And also the University Medicine and Surgery Clinic.
Are those resources available to somebody from anywhere in the country? It's not state specific.
No, it's not state specific. Each state should have some type of resource for the community, as far as how to get medical supplies and medication if you're not able to afford them. And for Nevada Diabetes Association care chest of Sierra Nevada community health centers. Check with their local health department and see what they offer. And most likely you will see that information in there. And then sometimes you can just check with your doctor's office. They might have grant funding for medication. So like you can't afford a medication. You just have to ask, and then sometimes you'll get the right person. So they'll say, no, we don't have anything. And then somebody will say, oh, yes, we do. And then they'll reach out to you and call you and say, hey, try this nonprofit organization. They will help you with your medication.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes a prescription card, check with the pharmacy, see if they have prescription programs. That will help. And also sometimes, like I said before, you can check with your doctor's office and see if they have a prescription program for your meds.
Do people know to ask their doctors for samples?
Some people don't, and I always tell my husband, ask for samples, when he goes, if they prescribe him something, I say, ask for a sample. But yeah, they need to know that you could ask for samples, and they should be able to give you samples.
On a personal note, my doctor's been trying to get me on lowering my cholesterol for a long time, and always try to give me statins. I react very badly to statins. They turn my muscles to mush. So I asked him for a sample, and he gave me a sample, a drug called Repatha, which was fantastic. It worked great. I didn't have any reaction to it. And the reason I'm going into this is because it eventually led me to something. My medical coverage covers that, and so I got off. I didn't have to go for statins. But if I hadn't got the samples in the first place, I wouldn't be on it. Ozempic and similar drugs aren't always covered. So can you get those covered through this program?
The program that I'm facilitating, no, we don't do those drugs or anything. But I think some hospitals or certain clinics might be able to help people get those drugs.
Are there resources for low-income people to get CGMs, continuous glucose monitor?
Yes, I did have a link for that as well.
Yeah.
People just have to ask, and people really have to be an advocate for their own health care.
That's hugely important.
That is hugely important.
But I do know that Medicare, for example, does cover CGMs.
Okay.
So if you need one and you're on Medicare, you can get one.
Okay.
And for anybody that draws blood every day through a Lancet, it really should be on a CGM.
I agree.
Because it gives you so much more information and more timely information. You know exactly if there's a problem or when there's a problem.
Right, definitely.
The last question that I have is what to do if the insurance refuses to cover more expensive but necessary resources and procedures.
You can appeal. They give you so many days for appeal. And you can do the appeal. Then you can ask your doctor to explain the diagnosis. I write a letter for you, explain why you need this medication. That should help.
So do you have anything that you want to add to our audience, that things that they should know that we haven't covered?
Diabetes is very serious condition, and if you're at the point where you're pre-diabetic, you can reverse those numbers by focusing on your diet. Portion size is a big concern for most people. Try using smaller plates. That helps, and try to get your exercise in, at least 150 minutes of moderate to intense exercise.
Pickleball's good.
Well, pickleball, yeah, right, great. Pickleball is good, but there's a lot of other forms of exercises that's important too. Strength training is important because the more you build muscle, it helps with regulation of your blood sugar when you're building muscle. So it's very important to keep your muscle mass as you get older, and just stay moving.
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't be embarrassed. Don't let anybody allow you to be embarrassed.
Right, exactly. Just stay moving. Yeah, and it's really focused on having a well balanced diet. Make sure you have your protein, your vegetables, your fiber, get all that good fats and all that stuff in,
Sure.
And your numbers can go down. Yeah. That's,
so most of what we've talked about, we covered on a lot of our videos. So we're an additional resource if you need it. That's Simply Diabetes on YouTube. Our videos come out weekly.
right. For a personal story from my mom, I'm her health caregiver. I'm a caregiver for her. And she's been with type 2 diabetes for over, I could say, maybe 30 plus years. And when she moved in with me, she had all these tons of medication and everything. So I had to find her a new doctor. And they did the blood work, and the doctor said, well, Marion, we're just going to keep her on the diabetes medication that she was taking. It was an injection. and we're going to see if she needs this heart medication and high blood pressure medication. So once all the blood work came back, she said, well, I'm just going to keep her on the diabetes medication. And she had been doing the injection shots for over 20 plus years. And just by me just monitoring what she eat, you know, changing her diet slowly, she was able to get off the injection, and her numbers went down. She was way up in the high 8s and 9s. She went down to pre-diabetic. And so now she just takes the metformin pill. So
good for her.
Yeah, right. So it's possible for your numbers to go down, you know, if you're type 2, you know, diabetes don't go away. You know, it's just something that you just have to continue to manage, you know, throughout your lifestyle.
Right. You have to be vigilant. You have to,
Exactly.
to keep the data coming so that you understand where you're at.
Exactly. Right. And then you have to be an advocate for your own health care. You know, I had to be an advocate for her, you know, and everything, telling the doctor what I was experiencing with her. Yeah.
Good for your mom. She's doing real good.
Right. Yes.
If she's been doing this for 30 years and is now well under control, that's awesome.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. She's 91. Yeah. But she did lose her eyesight from diabetes.
She did?
Yeah. For it not being managed. You know, she did lose. Yeah. She's been without her sight for maybe 20 years.
I've asked Gary this question from Gary from Pickleball, and I think he told me that people sometimes think that it's inevitable that you lose limbs or eyesight or whatever because you have diabetes. One of the messages that we've tried to get out is it's not.
Right.
Just because you're diagnosed now, you know, or whatever age that you have diabetes, it doesn't mean that automatically that you're going to end up succumbing to eyesight loss or losing limbs and stuff.
Right. That's only if it's not managed.
Yeah.
Right. If it's not managed, if you're not doing anything, you're not eating right, or you're not exercising, you know, eventually, something's going to
catch up with you.
Right.
Well, I find it staggering. You know, I am a big Seattle Seahawks fan. Russell Wilson was the quarterback, as you know, when they won the Super Bowl. His dad died of diabetes. I'm staggered. People still die from diabetes.
Right.
It's just not. It's not very unnecessary. It shouldn't have to be that way.
Right. This lifestyle changes. You know, I mean, it's just hard for some people to make those changes.
Right. One of the things that I think causes that is sometimes the medical profession says arrest your diabetes, or even you can never get rid of it,
right.
but you can inhibit it. But they talk about making it so restrictive. You can't eat potatoes, you can't eat bread, you can't eat rice, you can't eat pasta, and you're supposed to eat just meat and veggies. And that's way too radical for most people to deal with. And so, you know, what we've tried to talk about is, yes, make the changes, be consistent with the changes that you make, but you don't have to completely redo your entire life.
Right.
That's too, in our minds, too prohibitive.
Right. It's too extreme for most people. You know, to tell me I can't eat potatoes anymore, or rice. You can have all that, but it's in moderation, in portion size.
Exactly.
You know, add more protein on your plate, more veggies, and you can have the carbs, you know, just not as much, you know, just a serving size, you know. Yeah.
But one of the things we did advocate early on is that find out how your body reacts.
That's to certain foods.
Yeah. So we don't react the same way to everything we eat. For example, Marjana, her reaction is mostly to baked goods, like, you know, things with flour in them. She has a cookie and her blood sugar goes.
Right.
So.
Well, you're right. You definitely have to figure out what works best for you as far as your nutrition,
right,
and your physical activity. Because some people, you know, they think, oh, I got to get 150 minutes of physical activity. But you don't have to do all that at one time. You could break it up,
right?
You know, 10 minutes throughout the day. You know,
right. Well, Marjana talked earlier about the stealthy exercise, the video we just released. We did an earlier one that housework is exercise.
Is it right? Yes, it is.
And people again don't realize that. But keep track of it in something like
a journal. Yeah, it's always good to journal.
Yeah. So what about you? Do you know anyone who serves their community quietly, unselfishly? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our weekly videos. Many thanks to Marion for being with us and sharing her story, guidance, and resource information, and for her community service as a police officer and diabetes lifestyle coach. See you next week, and until then, keep your blood sugar in the healthy range.